Like and subscribe right now, or else this will be in your bed tonight. r/AskReddit by Planet Reddit. Waiter servers of Reddit. What is the best clapback you've delivered to a rude customer? Way back in the day when I worked in food service, we had a customer who got a salad and when she was finished placed one of her hairs in the bowl in order to get it refunded and got the complimentary "I'm sorry" free bakery item. She did this every day. Finally the DM sat down at her table and told her this was her last day eating in the cafe. They would refuse her refund today and refuse her service in the future. She started to say something about the customer always being right and he just put up a hand to cut her off and said, "You cause us to lose money every day. You're absolutely not our customer. You are a liability. And you are no longer welcome here." Edit. Because many people have asked. It took embarrassingly long to get there. I worked in training support and the issue came to light during an associate level customer service class. They had been going with it for at least a few weeks. I'm not sure if the managers all knew what was going on, but I called their GM and DM after class and it was taken care of between the two of them by the end of that week. You are a liability, yes. Love it. From every sense she's a liability. If an inspector happens to be in there, they get a strike or worse. If other customers come in right as she does it, it could cost them additional revenue. There are other situations where this is a major issue more than just giving her a free meal. In fact, from the business point of view, assuming they get lots of business, her one free meal a day is insignificant compared to everything else that it could potentially cost them. Live in a small town. Worked in a fish and chip shop, one of two in the town. We were a tourism town, and one of the main attractions was the award-winning fish and chips. Top 5 in the county while I was there. The people in the town believed we were in massive competition with the other shop. We weren't. We had 25 plus staff. They had around 7-8 and we were serving thousands more customers than them per week or even per day in summer. So, on the rare occasion whenever a customer got angry they would simply exclaim, "Well, I am going to insert opposed competitor's name here instead, and I won't be back," like it was a big deal and would really hurt our feelings business. We would simply tell them that we don't want them back, and they should enjoy the food from the other shop. We own both shops. Okay, that last line made it pretty awesome. I heard that shit so much, but when I was in call centers and not restaurants, well, maybe I'll just buy this item you don't have from Macy's. Certainly. Would you like me to call them for you and transfer you over? If they have the thing and we don't have the thing, then buy then thing from them you evacuated bint. Not me, but my manager. Woman comes in every Sunday and complains every Sunday. This past time, she said, "I won't be coming back." And he goes, "Alright, I'll see you next week." So did she ever come back? Yes, the very next week. And of course complained about our wait time even though she knows damn well Sundays are our busiest days. The church crowd is easily one of the most entitled group of people generally speaking, and she is a part of it, every Sunday. I was a witness to her silent owning that. I get giddy thinking of buddy of mine serving a table and the kid is around 8-10. Gives her an adult glass for her apple juice. Dad pipes up and says he doesn't want her having all that sugar so he needed to take it away and come back with a kid size one. My friend replied that the glasses are the same size. The adult size just looks bigger because they have thick bottoms. The dad responds that the adult glass is clearly bigger and like I said, I don't want her to have all that sugar. My buddy is an a-hole. He gives a super deliberate exaggerated nod. Says nothing and marches to our little service alley behind the bar and Ray emerges with a kid's cup, sets it down beside the glass, picks up the glass and pours the adult glass, lifting it progressively higher until the last drops. He drops from like a foot over the glass and darts the duck off to the kitchen without even looking at the guy like didn't even exist. I died. Edit. Now that I think about it, he's a Redditor. He blew up maybe 7-10 years ago for giving his dog with terminal cancer a bacon wrapped last meal. Don't know his use / to give him proper cred. That's such a great way to tell the guy to duck off. This made me grin. I bet that felt amazing for your friend. Obligatory not me but rude lady to gay cashier. Sorry I don't speak gay. Cashier. Don't worry, I'm fluent in beach. This one's the only one that made me go oh shit. That's exactly what I said. Honestly don't think I'll ever forget that clapback. When they say that they know places that are cheaper, I replied, I have customers that pay more. I usually just rolled my eyes and went with okay, but a couple times I got super fed up and said that's okay. You don't have to eat here, but just flag me down if you want it. This one. Someone needs to say this to my dad every once in a while. Not at a restaurant but at bar, they're having education week. Lady snapping fingers to student employee. Tell me where the Marriott Center is. Student employee snapping back. Try again. Sounds like education week was a success. That wasn't a clapback. That was a snapback. Why don't you get a real job? Now if I did that, what would you have to beach and be mad about? This shows how little that person knows of the work you do. It's insulting. Yup, not to mention they would require more money to upgrade their dining lifestyle, which may mean they need a new job. Bunch of drunks making a mess, wasting our time and harassing other tables. Me. The manager has decided all off, you need to leave. We reserve the right to refuse service to anyone and your behavior warrants it. Loudest drunk. Duck it. We're never gonna come back to this shithole. Me. That's exactly the point. Please leave. Yep, this is unfortunately common at the brewery I work at. Once we had a whole high school reunion. 100-ish people show up unannounced and proceed to be incredibly rude, get too drunk, refuse to pay. One guy who got cut off said that he was the head of the alumni committee, sure bud, and say that if he doesn't get served he will never invite people to the brewery ever again. We have never been more happy to not serve a customer. Served in Muskoka, Ontario years ago. Lots of celebrities in the area for the summer. Served Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn burgers. Martin Short, Dan Aykroyd etc. Had a local nobody who thought he was a big shit celebrity, would never tip and would always crumple up both copies of the Visa bill into a tiny little ball, even chew on it till it was the size of a spitball. So this asshat comes in with a bunch of friends and treats them all to supper. $600 bill. Crumples up the Visa bills again into the tiny little ball and flicks it at me with a grin on his face. I swiftly kick it off the patio and into the lake our patio is on. He sees this and says in front of the table, "Guess you won't know what your tip is now." I tell the table flat out he never tips anyways, so no loss dart and walk away. They leave. I call the police on a dine and dash because there is no evidence this guy paid. It's in the lake now, and I deleted the pre-auth from the debit machine. Cops go to this guy's house and make him return to the restaurant to pay. He wasn't an a-hole ever again. Best one I've read yet. Holy shit. Grew up in Muskoka myself. Never thought I would see someone on the internet from there, lol. This is 95% of the tourist every damn summer. Glad I got out when I had the chance. Rude customer. I don't like. Insert literally anything here. Is owner in? I know him. Me. Overly excited, OMG same, I know him too. He's not here but I'm the manager on today so I'll help you out. Haha, I hate name droppers. Half the time. Said boss has no bloody idea who they are. Especially hilarious when it's a family owned business. I'm the owner's brother, sorry I don't remember you at any of the family parties. Woman complained about her cocktail, saying she couldn't taste the alcohol. Could we make it stronger? It was already a double, but we added a splash. She still couldn't taste it. Could we add more? She was obviously drunk when she arrived and angling to get more drunk as cheap as possible, which is why I took her cocktail, apologized that it wasn't to her liking, and said I'd take it off her bill, effectively cutting her off for the night. A bartender I used to work with hated when customers did this, so he used to pour a little liquor down in the straw, giving the illusion more liquor was poured into the drink. Can confirm this works. Used to do it to every blended drink or else the middle-aged divorced Karens would complain they couldn't taste enough alcohol. You ordered a blended drink. You worn out twat. Work for a moving company. Customers always get mad when we don't have the equipment available for them when they show up last minute with no reservation. Well, I'll just go to competitor's name. Would always reply with exact directions. Great, they are a block north. On the right side. You can't miss them. Never failed to get a disgusted scoff. But we would always see them again in an hour or so to set up a reservation when competitors didn't have any equipment either. They came back. I don't think I could go back if I was an a-hole like that. That's because you have self-awareness. Edit. Holy duck. I missed cake day. Oh well. I'm never coming back here again. Great, we don't want you back here. You mean it? You really mean it? Or perhaps, please? Got in trouble for a version of this years ago. My version was, well, that's a relief. My brother was a waiter and was working with a really difficult woman. She ordered the salmon and asked when it got to her table if it was farm raised. She got mad at him because he didn't mention that the salmon was farm raised when she was ordering, even though it clearly states that it is farm raised on the menu. She ordered the chicken to replace the salmon and my brother said, I have to warn you, it's farm raised. Now picturing a troop of game hunters returning from a safari, bearing 10 dead chickens on shoulder poles. Join our community Discord, link in description. Table of 10. Sunday brunch. Fancy restaurant. I'm hungover. A crowd swarms in at opening and my whole section is sat at once. I'm efficient and cool. I'm used to this. I get to the big table and preface that water is being brought as we speak. Then begin taking everyone's drink order. As I'm taking orders around the table, one woman blurts out that she wants water and not to forget the water, interrupting her friends and family as they make their requests. I acknowledge her each time until after the 4th time, saying, if you ask for water again, I'll make sure everyone here gets water but you. She sinks back in her chair looking dumbfounded and I go put in the order, then head to the bar. If I owned a service-oriented business, I'd make sure that my employees could respond exactly as the customers talk to them first. This is great. Come to the Northeast, it is pretty standard practice. I slipped a napkin with a lipstick kiss and the text, it was great. You were great. Let's do it again, in the pocket of a man's jacket. The same man who openly mocked my colleague, she has Down syndrome, in front of his whole Christian family. That's pretty harsh, but was well earned. Good job. Savage. I'm quite feminine for a guy. I don't mind what people say or think about me, so I get confused for gay sometimes. That it's important for later. As I was working as cashier, a guy just went to me and started to say, and I'm quoting him, I don't understand how many gay people works in this restaurant. I don't even know if I want to eat here anymore. Lots of my coworkers are gay, and the way he said was not exactly kindly. So when his meal was ready, nobody wanted to give it to him, so I just did what any sane person would do in my position. I took his meal and you bet I became a ducking Disney princess for like 5 minutes straight, walking like a model, calling him sweet names, being extremely touching and giving him the best attention I could. It was so fun. What was his reaction? You can't leave that out. Also, I would have avoided the touching just so that he can't claim sexual harassment or something. To be honest, he looked really pissed and angry every time I went to check on him, but since I was just being really nice to him, he couldn't say a thing. If I remember correctly, he told me something like, you all guys need to read the Bible, when I said bye to him and never saw him again. That sentence became an inside joke for me and the boys for a while, so it was worth it. As for the touching, in Spain is not that weird to be touchy while interacting. Plus I just put my arm on his shoulder/arm. I'd watch out if I were you. I know your manager. I know him too. So what? I used to regularly have people complain to my boss. He would just say, good to hear he's doing his job. I had one of these, except he was saying owner. I was beyond confused. I was at a Burger King at the time. We didn't have store owners. Asked him if he meant the restaurant manager. He proceeds to yell that he knows the owner, and he would get me fired for his wait time, lol. I asked for the name of whoever he knew, and he yelled at me for not knowing the names of my bosses. So I eventually gave up and just closed the window on him. Hahaha, it was all BS. He didn't know anyone. Just wanted to yell at an 18-year-old girl, lol. Italian customer at a steakhouse in the US. My pasta wasn't quite al dente. Me. You just got off a plane from Italy, ordered pasta at a steakhouse in the US, and you're surprised it was less perfect that you are accustomed to. Italian and Mexican food is the best. Me and a co-worker had an argument about Italian food. I stated I wasn't a big fan of Italian food cause it's all the same. Some type of noodle with sauce. I much rather have Mexican food. He asked me to tell him what was in a burrito. I said usually a tortilla and some type of meat. Then he asked to tell him what was in a taco. Usually a tortilla with some type of meat. Then he asked to describe to him a chimichanga. Needless to say, I stopped arguing. Edit. Apparently there's also a Jim Gaffigan joke about this that I just now found out about. I guess great minds etc. My manager gave a customer credit for an order then blocked her from delivery so she never was able to use it. Hahaha awesome. I worked at an athletic wear store one time and someone tried to return 2 jackets I just knew hadn't sold. They were Carmelo Anthony Jordan jackets still at full price. I asked the lady and her son where they came from and said the teen's father bought them at this store. I asked her to call him and you could see she looked nervous. She was shaking with her phone and I don't know if she made the call or not. So I verified in inventory that we had the jackets should have still been in store and made sure they weren't on the rack while I had another manager watch them and hold the merch. She said the dad said they came from here and I was like cool, I just have to put a store number in when there's no receipt. Then I issued them a merchandise credit for something near $200 and told them I'd be there when they decided to find something he liked more. Then I used the merch credit number to buy the jackets back to reset my inventory to 1 of each. It's probably cause I need sleep, but I don't understand quite what you did to the jackets. Please explain like I'm an idiot. Cause maybe I am. Had a girl ordering a pina colada and then complaining about the coconut. She didn't like coconut, so I got her another drink and she goes, "What are you going to do with that one? Will you throw it away?" I just looked at her, told her that I do like coconut and took a sip. I'll order this drink and then bitch about one of the key ingredients. Foolproof. I had more than one of these encounters since I worked as a waiter for quite a while. I remember a Karen wanting a sincere apology after insulting and berating one of my best friends there, and since I was the one in charge I had to do it. So, with the biggest smile I could put on, I went to her and said I'm so sorry for AALL the things my co-worker did to you. We all here know a lady like you deserves different, so let me help you. She was smiling like the crazy beat she was thinking she won. But then I added let me go with you to the door so you could find a restaurant that serves your kind. Since you are not welcome here anymore. She was fumming. I still remember his face lol. Then as she was leaving I said something like I hope you have a day as wonderful as you deserve. She complained to management, but since I was always the good guy at work and my co-workers didn't say a thing, they let it pass. I worked at a restaurant in my hometown for years. And the most common rude thing customers would pull was lifting their empty cup with ice in it and shaking it at me, implying they needed a refill. My response was always the same. Are you making music or did you need something? Use your words. A shats. I'm not your dog. My ex-wife used to do this crap. It was so embarrassing. I'm really sorry, people suck. Thank God she's your ex-wife. Not at a restaurant but as a parking attendant at a ski resort I was allowed to clap back. The best one went like this. Guy, why can't I just park there? Me, because we have a bunch of school buses full of kids coming later and we need to reserve this space for them. Guy, but I'm a good driver, come on, there's no parking anywhere else. Me, yes there is, you'll just have to walk a little bit further from your car to the lift. Guy, but I don't want to. Me, too bad, leaves for the bathroom and comes back finding Guy and family getting ready where I told them not to park. Guy smirks at me, fills out a parking ticket and places it on his windshield in front of him. Guy, hey what the hell man? Me, move your car now or I'll tow it too. I would have gone straight to towing it when he went into the resort. Let him handle it and figure it out. On my last night as a delivery driver I was told to keep the change on $12.98 as my tip. I responded by rummaging through my change pouch, took out 2 pennies and tossed them back saying if I wanted your 2 cents I would have asked you a ducking question, and walked away. Was my final delivery ever and well worth it. Edit. I was working for a wing place in the US and he ordered the wing basket to be paid cash upon delivery. On another note, this location was notorious for never tipping and the owner, to make up for it, charged an extra quarter for delivery. So instead of $1 it cost $1.25. Woohoo. This was revenge for all the times us drivers went there in the past and for those who continue to do so. For the Brits, here it is customary to tip food delivery drivers $2.03 for a basic meal or more depending on how much food you ordered. Not a server, but I had a few when I worked at the Comcast retail center. One guy in particular came in hot and was adamant that we doubled his bill. I look into his billing history and lo and behold he hasn't paid in 2 months. I point this out to him and say, let's be real, you haven't paid in 2 months, we're both white. And I guess my use of the phrase be real triggered something in him, because now he's complaining that I have shitty customer service and I should go work for McDonald's instead. I immediately respond, but then where would you work? I know Comcast is evil and all, but taking money from that a-hole made my entire ducking week. Edit. To people asking me why I brought up race, it's because I was the only white person working that day in an urban location. And maybe I'm reaching, but that job was the only time in my life where other white people felt the need to correct my speech. He wasn't the first or the last to do this. Wait, what does the fact that you both are white have anything to do with this? LOL. Perhaps the term be real is considered ebonics or something? I once saw an extremely rude guy picking on waitresses and just being a total dong. There was however one male waiter, whom he promptly summoned. Guy, another beer. Waiter, sorry, no more left. Guy, horseshit, bring me the ducking beer. Waiter, no more left for you. He then walked off, leaving the guy to himself. The rude dude then left the place quietly, to my great surprise. Maybe not the most powerful comeback, but it was amusing to watch. Worked part-time at a thrift store. Got cursed out by a customer yelling, "Why don't you get a real job?" Replied with, "Why don't you go yell at a real store?" in the most tired deadpan voice. This happened a few times. Host sat me at a table with a couple and their toddler. The two sat on the same side of the booth, kissed, etc. So I knew they were a couple, but the woman looked much older, like she looked terrible. I'm sure it was drug abuse of some kind, but it was noticeable. So she's super rude to me the entire time. She asked for her eggs over easy hard. Our conversation went like this. Me, Mum, your eggs can be over easy, which is kind of runny, or over hard where they're fully cooked. Her, oh, bless your heart. You have no idea, do you? Me, Mum, her, why don't you get me a real server, and he can make my eggs the way I like them? Me, UHH. Mom, I know how eggs are cooked. Over easy hard doesn't tell me anything. Do you want them over medium? Huh? How hard is your job? Honestly, how hard is it to just serve people eggs? Huh? I'm sorry, was my order too hard? Did you not understand me? What the hell kind of place is this that nobody can make me eggs? I took a deep breath and said this. Mum, I apologize to you, your son, and your grandson. Let me go ahead and comp your meal. Her face twisted up and got so red I thought it was going to pop off of her face. This is my husband and that's my son. OHH boy, it was so worth it. Where is your manager? I need your manager right now. I got my manager. He yelled at me in the office, but couldn't prove that I was purposefully disingenuous. So I didn't even get written up. It was awesome. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for 3 videos a day.